George. So, how many here, by a show of hands, own a car? Like, own your own car, you drive this well? Well, if you do, you're part of the 210 million Americans who only drive a car and are part of the transportation culture. So basically, I'm credible to talk about it because like, I myself have been driving and owning my own car for almost 2 years now. And by learning more about the transportation culture, you'll be able to understand why the car has become the dominant form of transportation, and how I identify myself to be part of this culture. So first, let me talk about how the car represents the transportation culture. So basically, the car was invented in 1885 by Carl Benz, and well, he was the inspiration for the Mercedes-Benz, which is actually the first car. And basically, there have been previous models, like similar models to that car built, but none were able to run on gasoline, so like they would run on coal or steam. So his was considered the first actual car built. And actually that didn't derive in America, that actually built in Germany. And it became the dominant form of dominant form of transportation between 1900 and 1950, 1915 due to Henry Ford because of assembly line production, which was they were able to manufacture products at a much quicker pace, and were able to get the car like open to the public much quicker. And by 1957, like the car had become officially established as a dominant form like of everyday life, because that was when President, I think it was Eisenhower, he established a highway pact which built pretty much the construction of all the roads and all the interstates. And it also represents the transportation culture because with the car, like as everybody knows, you're able to travel long distances in a short amount of time at your own convenience. So basically, you don't have to go through the hassle of waiting in line for the bus or being crowded. And also, like when you're in the bus, you're not gonna be like, oh, I don't like that song, can you change it? So in your car, you can do whatever you want, you know. So you have your own, you're comfortable in your car. And now that I talked about how it represents the transportation culture, I'll talk about how I identify with it. So I identify with it because like having a car, it just gives you a sense of liberty, you know? You're just free, you're able to go places you wouldn't normally go to. You're not bored, you're not confined to one area. So you're able to experience more things, like hang out with friends. So it's like, it's fun, you know, just having the car. And also, you're probably thinking, why do you choose a car as transportation, like not a bus or a train? Well, I identify myself with the car because it's like, it's always been in my family, like growing up with cars. Like my grandpa, basically, he was a mechanic. He passed his interest to my dad. And well, that's where I got my interest from. And basically, their hobby was just like restoring old cars. So what we would do is, I remember an experience that I had. Me and my dad went, like I was 10 years old, I remember. We went to the Fairplex car show, which is in Pomona. I don't know if some people are familiar with it. Well, I remember we were just walking like through the aisles, just looking at stuff. They sell car stuff, so we were just walking. And I remember my dad, he saw a car and he really liked it. And he told me what I think about it. To me, it was just, literally it was just a rusty box of wheels. That's what I saw. And to him, he saw another thing. So I remember us buying it, we took it home and all that. And like for the time, we rebuilt it. And like by the time it was finished, I really learned to appreciate it. Like I knew it took effort, determination, patience, and a good amount of money. So if you're wondering what car was, it was a 1972 Mustang Boss. Kind of looks like this actually. And well, that's why I identify myself to be of this culture. So in conclusion, I hope that you gain an understanding of why the car has become a dominant form of transportation. First, I talked about how the car represents the transportation culture. Secondly, I talked about how I identify myself to be part of this culture. And so the next time you're driving, and just remember you're part of the 210 million Americans making traffic for everybody else.